Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Liam from The Basic Barista, and today we're going to be doing something really special. Our last video did really well. We basically showed you my way of making a flash brewed coffee, but someone actually commented on the video and they said, well, isn't it just cooling down the coffee? To which I replied something along the lines of, yes, it is, but much quicker. You could get a similar result if you were to just chill a hot brewed pour over. And it got me thinking, but how does that taste? So making a flash brew coffee is actually very easy. All you do is replace half of the brewing water with ice down in the server. And if you want to learn more about how to make this, we've got that video linked. Now, if you think about it, it only takes a couple of minutes to make and then a couple of minutes to actually serve. Because you're using those ice cubes down in the bottom, it helps to speed up the cooling down process. Now compare this to brewing hot, waiting for it to cool down and then chilling in the fridge. It does take substantially longer to get that same result in temperature, but how does it taste? In today's video, we're going to explore this. We're going to brew both coffees exactly the same, using the same grind size, the same dripper, the same paper, the same water. Everything's going to be the same. The only difference is going to be the brewing method. If you're interested in these types of videos, make sure that you drop a like and you subscribe to see more. Let's get into it. For the traditional pour over, what we're going to do is we're going to do 20 clicks on the Comandante, and then we're trying to keep the recipe as similar as possible, and we're going to do about 3 pours on the Hario switch. So let's set that up. Pre-wet our filter and get everything nice and set. I'm actually just going to let this sit for a couple of minutes while I grind this coffee, and what that's going to do is help transfer the heat from the water into the actual dripper. Quick spritz of RDT, give it a quick shake and put that in our grinder and grind it. Now, for this recipe, we're going to start off with our switch in the open position, and that's because we want to have the bloom pass through, as this has the most amount of acidity in this coffee. So what we're going to do is start our timer, and we're going to add 100 grams of water, making sure to cover all of the coffee grounds in a circular and slow motion. Cool. We're now going to let this pass through completely and then start our next pour. Okay, we're now at 40 seconds and we're going to continue pouring and close that switch all the way up to 250 grams total brew weight. I think just to avoid any confusion, I made a mistake before when I said it was a 3-stage. We're just going to do a 2-stage pour. While this is brewing, we can already see that the coffee grounds have sunk down to the bottom and we've got a hot dripper that's brewing the coffee. Now we're currently at 1 minute and 20 seconds. We're going to wait until this reaches 2 minutes and 30 seconds, at which point we're going to release the switch and allow the rest of the coffee to filter down into the server. Now, while we're waiting, I just want to tell you quickly about this coffee. This is a Yemen Jamar natural processed coffee. It's a filtered single origin Yemeni coffee, and it is absolutely delicious. So if you haven't tried Yemeni coffee before, it is quite expensive, and that's just to do with the origin of Yemen, but definitely worth trying. Okay, we're now approaching the 2 minute and 30 second mark. We're going to press this down. Now, usually I find that this takes around anywhere between 30 to 45 seconds to completely draw down. But also that just depends on the grind size, the water temperature, even the coffee itself. All right, there we go. So at 3:30, that has completely drawn down. We're going to remove the switch, clean it out, and then with the server, we're actually going to put it in the fridge, and this is going to be our chilled pour over coffee that we're going to be comparing. So let me go do that. I'm going to do some movie magic, cut back to when we're setting up our flash brewed coffee. Okay, and we're back, guys. We're actually going to be using the exact same grind size. I feel like it's going to also help us to compare the two coffees side by side without any interference of the coffee. Now, as you can see, I've got our ice at the bottom, our coffee at the top. This time around, what we're going to do is we're going to close the switch for the entire brew. So I'm going to pop in my water now and start the timer. Now, if you want to watch the full recipe on how to make this flash brewed coffee, we'll also have that full video linked as well. Now, while this is up here, I'm going to give it a quick swirl because we've got a little bit of a crust happening. And we're going to let it again sit until 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which at that point we're going to press the switch to open the valve and release our coffee into our server over the ice. Now also, please be mindful when you're placing heavy ice cubes into a server. In that video that we just mentioned, we totally destroyed one of the servers, so yeah, just be super cautious about that. And we're back. It's time to taste. So on my left, we've got the chilled pour over coffee, and then on my right here, we've got the flash brew coffee. Now, both of them have been sitting in the fridge, and the reason why I wanted to do that is just so that they could equilibrate for temperature. And I feel like they're at a similar temperature. I don't necessarily have a way to measure it per se, but just going off what I can see, they are quite similar. So now let's taste. Now, first of all, what I have noticed is that the pour over coffee that's been chilled is actually a little bit grainier, and it seems to be a little bit more cloudy. Whereas the flash brewed coffee, it's definitely a little bit more clear and transparent. So let's give it a try. So first up with the chilled pour over. Honestly, it's nice. It's got that really juicy flavor from the Yemeni coffee. It does taste a little bit muddier, and I'm not sure if that's the cloudiness that I'm getting or if that's a bit of like a mind trick thing, but it definitely does taste good. It isn't as clean as I'd like it to be, however, it is nice and refreshing. Now for the flash brew. Straight away, this one has more acidity, it's got more complexity. I actually think that they're both very similar. We did use the exact same coffee bean and grind size and a very similar brew method. But yeah, this one is definitely standing out to be a little bit more crisp and clear. Crisp, clean, and has a little bit more of that textural element that I prefer. Whereas this one is sitting on the more muddier side. It doesn't have that vibrant acidity that we normally find. I'm actually quite baffled. I'm not sure as to why this is the case. There might be a slight temperature difference with this one being a little bit cooler, just because it's got the direct ice, whereas this one has just been sitting in the fridge. But to be honest, it's quite similar, and with the small amount of difference, I would actually lean more towards the flash brew method over this one. Now, one other thing to consider is when you're going to be making this, how long you're going to be storing it for, and sort of your workflow. So if you're a cafe, having something like this, it might be a good idea, just because you could do like a big batch brew and then you could chill it. But for quality purposes, if you're going to be brewing pour over as well, and you're going to be serving that in front of the customer, having something like this where you've got the ice down at the bottom, you just do a simple pour over technique and then you can serve it straight away, is 1,000 times better than doing it this way. From a presentation and a quality perspective, I feel like that would be so much more engaging than something that comes straight out of the bottle. But it's up to you. If you've got that time constraint, especially cafes, they need things to be done quick, simple, and that does take up, and that is more profitable for them. It might be that this is a better option for you. To be fair, I'm not super judgmental on either of these. They're both tasting pretty similar. So I guess it's up to you. Maybe you should do this side by side, do a taste test and compare the two and see whether it would suit you and your venue. And if you're a home barista, even better. You've got the flexibility of time where you can play around with this. Guys, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.